someone just IM'd it. I meant to mention this. 2 years ago, to the day, Aaron Bushnell, a 25-year-old U.S. serviceman, lit himself on fire out in front of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. to draw people's attention to the genocide. I don't know about the emotional state of someone who would do this, or the mental state, and I certainly, it's not something that I would recommend to people. In some instances, the least you can do is provide some memory, because there was a genocide ongoing at that time, and there has been a genocide that has taken place, and still Palestinians living in abject misery. Just wanted to note that. Also, last night, State of the Union address, hard for me to communicate to you the level of regret that I have in suggesting yesterday that we would do live coverage of that event. I spent 2 hours at home trying to get a computer that was not capable of doing it, combined with my lack of skills in working OBS and trying to get Emma tied in. And then, so I abandoned the actual live coverage of the address. And then I think about 4 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes into the State of the Union, I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Except for the fact that I had promised that I would do a wrap-up reaction to it, which meant that I actually had to watch the thing. And I cannot tell you how incredibly boring it was. There was nothing new introduced in it whatsoever. There was no attempt to recognize any type of the economic issues. It was, we have one clip, I think, that will really sum up his perspective on that, Trump's. It was just a rolling series of recognizing people in the audience. It was almost had like a telethon feel to it. I can't really, like, where it's just, it was a combination of like a telethon and almost like a trade association award dinner. Right. Where, a lot of the people, you just stand up from over there, table 5. And
at the supper club?
Yeah, it was just...
Our sales leader from the Northwest.
And then he finished up with like, I don't know, it was probably only 3 or 4 minutes, but it seemed like interminable. Like the moving, rousing part, the prose, I guess. Purple prose at the end. But he was so tired by that point, and so everybody else was so done, that he just sort of like rambled through the part that was supposed to be sort of poetic. And then at the end you get, in my recollection, I may be recalling this wrong, but in every State of the Union I have seen done, and I've probably now seen 20 professionally almost, just professionally having to watch it, including Trump, I had 4 or 5 of them. The applause at the end was, about 60 seconds, which is about, I think, probably 3 or 4 minutes less than it usually is. Just because everyone was so tired.
Ready to text their driver.
And look, I can only point to a couple of State of the Union addresses throughout the entire time where they have been like relevant in any way. I think like Biden, when he got the Republicans to basically vow that they wouldn't cut Social Security, I thought was relevant. Biden's last State of the Union address, where it seemed like, whatever cocktail they had him on, he seemed like he was like engaged. It was short, and that was probably smart as well. But outside of that, I can't really. Bill Clinton gave a laundry list, whatever. It's all just sort of like, it really more for the media. Nothing, this is not going to change a thing within days after this. Nothing. It's going to be completely forgotten. But except for this, which I think people will remember, this is Donald Trump. And the thing that sticks out for me in this, I want you to just think of other, particularly with what's missing from the Epstein files and what's in the Epstein files. I want you to think of just like other scenarios where Donald Trump might be in a situation where he is like trying to convince someone that they're loving stuff, that they're really enjoying it. Go ahead.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Now, I want to make something clear. That's not our audio that's blowing out. Trump blew out the audio on the microphone, so the entire speech, and that is at the beginning of the speech. That's at the beginning of the speech. They spent about 20 minutes on the U.S. hockey team. And they brought them in to start all the cheers of USA every time they wanted to go into it. And Trump blows out the microphone as he's telling like, oh, no, no, no. You really want it. You really want it. And then for the rest of the speech, the microphone is like crispy and fried. It was honestly one of the most painful things that I feel like I've had to do professionally in this job. Now it's better than being a coal miner. That hurts more. And I think I'll be able to recover better than I would from black lung, but it is
sort of like being a moderator for Facebook, where you have to look at horrible things as part of your job.
Exactly. There should be therapy associated with what I just went through last night. But it was really creepy.
To give you an example of our policy victories, here's a hockey team, a gold medal winning hockey team.
Oh, and then he gave like the highest congressional medal you could give to the goalie.
You on the border, sir.
Maybe he can make some teeth out of it.
The flip side of that, Congressman Al Green held up a sign saying that blacks people are not apes. We'll play that clip later in the program, obviously in reference to Trump posting that video of Obama, Michelle and Barack Obama. But here are two heroes who did not get recognized by the president, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, as Donald Trump attacks both sanctuary cities and Somalis in Minneapolis. Here were their responses.
That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
They were, Omar at the very least was yelling, you have killed Americans. And Trump had a couple of moments where he's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. Not standing up and clapping for this.
Sick people.
Sick
people.
Sick, demented people, and I should know. The whole thing was a garbage fire. Honestly, a real garbage fire. And we don't really have any clips of Spanberger or Summer Lee's speeches. I will tell you that Spanberger's speech was almost exactly as you would imagine, a little bit better than Elise Slotkin's. I mean, the delivery was good. It was fine. She mentioned Minneapolis. It was largely like Donald Trump is bad. Maybe she said Republicans are bad. And we really got to vote them out. Whereas Summer Lee's speech was much more oriented towards organizing, getting involved, bringing people into the process, which is indicative of where their politics are. But Spanberger talked a lot about affordability, a lot about what was happening in Minneapolis. It was a little bit of an appeal to norms and to sort of like the days of yesteryear. Largely, I would say everyone did what you would anticipate them doing. It was one of the most predictable, boring nights I can remember in a long time. And I say this as someone who has very, very predictable and boring nights. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.